And then we're going to have cake.
Welcome to Baking with Frank. Frank Rush was a baker at the turn of the 20th century at the Uffelman Baking Company in Cincinnati, and then at his own bakery in Newport, Kentucky. Frank was also my great-grandfather. Through his handwritten batch-sized recipe book, I'm breaking down his recipes and getting to know him better. I'm Tom Mattingly, and this is Baking with Frank.
All right, welcome back to Baking with Frank. So we've had a couple of weeks that we used a couple of different recipes, and this week we're back to Frank, and we're making Frank's Japanese roll. Now, I will fully admit I had never heard of Japanese roll, but it turns out it's hopefully pretty simple. And I'm lucky that I was able to find almost the identical recipe, so I can actually do this one for you in measurements that count. We'll have the original measurements on the recipe that's on the screen, but this will make a little more sense. So anyway, we are going to start out with making the cake. So let me make sure I get everything locked down here. All right, so into the bucket, 4 egg yolks, room temperature, and a 1/4 cup of sugar, right there. 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, and 3 tablespoons of whole milk. Why isn't that working? There we go. I'm gonna mix that until it's combined. All right, so that's combined. We have here a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder and a 1/2 cup of cake flour. We're gonna combine those and then sieve them in. And I'm not gonna be able to do that all at one time, so well, let's see. We're gonna make this work. Here we go. Move that up. And I'm gonna make a mess, but we're gonna make this work. No, we're not. All right. I'm gonna take that off, just like that. Just like I said I was going to. I'm gonna rescue that top. We're gonna do this. Get all the nice lumps out of it. There we go. Now we're gonna do this. All right, so I think that's as close as I can get with that. I don't know what that is. Don't worry about that in a minute. Scrape it down, just like that. I'm gonna put that into a second bowl so that we can make a meringue. Kind of fascinating to me that Frank was doing this in, the 30s without this machine, doing it all by hand and doing it at scale. Got a lot of respect for that. Because, I'm clearly struggling with just this one. It's also interesting that this recipe, at least, says that it makes 2 pans. So I think he also recognized that this isn't something you did, 40 of at once. All right, here's that. I'll wash a couple of dishes. And we'll be back with clean dishes. All right, here we go. So, we are going to make a meringue. Get you down here where you can see what's going on. So, into the bowl, 4 egg whites. Yes, those are the same whites that came from the eggs before. And we're going to give those a whisk. Whoops. Now that those are bubbly, we're going to put in 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. borrow this from someone. Don't buy it. It's really stupid expensive for what we got here. I'm gonna put that in. The egg is getting tighter. Like white. The bubbles are smaller. All right, so we're gonna add the sugar. This is 1/3 of a cup of sugar in 3 increments while it's running. There's the sugar. And I think that looks good. So the test is if it holds a point, which it does. So, next, in appreciation for Catherine O'Hara, Moira Rose on Schitt's Creek, we're going to fold in the egg whites. So, taking about 1/3. Important part with this is not to lose the volume. So I'm told. Cut down through the middle and turn. I went ahead and made the filling for this, which is whipped cream. It really is that simple. It's a cup of heavy whipping cream, whipping cream, whatever term you want to use for it. 3 tablespoons of sugar and a half teaspoon of vanilla. So, all right, there's that. So I have pre-prepared a baking pan lined with parchment to help get it out beforehand. So we are going to pour this into the pan. Spread that out. It's hitting all the corners. And the goal is to have it as even as possible. All right, I'm gonna taste it. I know, I won't get the 7-hour. Oh, that tastes pretty good. All right, and then tap it 2 times just to get the bubbles out. We're gonna bake this at 350, oven's preheated, for 15 to 17 minutes, or until a toothpick comes out clean. So we're going in the oven.
Okay, so for the filling of Japanese roll, it really is just whipped cream, which I'm not mad at. And because I'm not mad at it, and because I did read the recipe first, you need 1 cup of whipping cream, and I have 2. So we're gonna make extra. Nothing wrong with that. So this is really quite simple. Got the whisk attachments ready to roll. We're going to put in the heavy cream. And the heavy cream, this reminds me of elementary school. And the heavy cream. We're going to add 6, count them, 6 tablespoons of powdered sugar. Yeah, I'm fudging this a little bit. And so that was 6 because there are 2, right? Because that's how math works. And 2 teaspoons, 1 if you're making the actual batch, 2 if you're not, of vanilla. This is the good Mexican vanilla from Penzeys. Highly recommend. And off we go. There it is. There it is. Take a look at that. Wait, look at me. Take a look at that. And it is delicious. All right. That's the filling. All right, so when this comes out of the oven, we're going to have to move fast. So get ready. Part of the principle, I understand, which was shared by my dear friend Lee, is you got to roll this thing up hot. Drop it like it's hot. All right, so we got 25 seconds here. What do you want to talk about? No, really, ask me anything. Safety first. 4, 3, 2, 1. It smells done. Ooh, looks a lot bigger than I thought it would be. And I'm going to quickly turn that out, just like that. And then, see if I can get the paper off without too much destruction. Turn it around like this, square it up. I'm gonna roll it up. Holy Moses. Okay, so you missed all that. But you look in there, you see the cakes rolled up. This is a time when 2 cameras would be good. So this time I'm going to let you watch. So here is our cake rolled up. And it is still a little warm. Not terribly warm. I think it'll be fine. But look at that. And here is our whipped cream. Now, as I mentioned, made this yesterday. I bought too much. But what we're going to do is spread this in here. Leaving a little bit around the edge. Just so it's got some room to squoosh. Squoosh is a technical term. It means squoosh. I think that's good. What the heck? Let's put a little more in there. And then we are going to roll it back up. There it is squooching. You're seeing it live. Okay, now I'm going to pull out some plastic wrap. I'm going to try not to curse as I try to get the damn thing to work. There we go. And we're going to roll this up in the plastic wrap. Now, the instructions in the recipe that I found say to refrigerate this for an hour. I think I'm going to freeze it because it is pretty loose. That is not a commentary on its morals. Go this way too, just because. So, I've been in the freezer for about an hour. You see, it's cake time. Look at that. Look at that. We got a swirl. To be noted, there's also a swirl on that side. Don't realize why that's so much of a revelation, but it is. And I suppose you could, sprinkle some powdered sugar on top of this and put a raspberry on it or something like that. But we're just going to go in. That's delicious. I had a lot of trepidation about making this one because of my last experience with the roll, but thanks to Lee's helpful hints, this is spectacular.